It's a great pleasure to welcome all of you tonight for this Cynoglow event, which is organized by a medical company with our strategic partner, Cynoglow. So first, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Hannah Mazen, working as a sales manager at the Derma department at an medical company. I believe most of you are familiar with our company. Hopefully, that's the thought. So, but briefly, Al-Amin is a medical device provider in the MENA region. And we are working proactively for years with our strategic partner, Cynosure, from USA. We aim constantly to elevate the quality of our service in the medical field. Of course, with your help, your support, and your encouragement. So on behalf, and I wish to represent or to reflect part of our passion and experience here. It gives me really, I'm very honored, pleased, and encouraged to see so many professional doctors and nurses and also a medical high experts in this field joining us today. So welcome all. On behalf of Al-Amir and Cynoglow, and I'd like now to invite my colleague, Ms. Wamba, the clinical education specialist from Cynoglow, to introduce the Cynoglow concept. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hannah. It's all here in the back also. So thank you all for coming tonight. It's really a pleasure to see some familiar faces. So as Hannah said, we have been in partnership for a couple of years. It's been 23 years actually that we've been partnered with Amico. They're our distributor in the region and really have strong relationships with them. And I guess it's because of this relationship also that you have with Amico that you're here today. So if you don't know us, Cynosure, we've been in the market for 30 years. So 30 years of innovation, 10 years of experience in the first. So we were the first hair removal device with dual wavelength in the market. We were the first non-invasive lipolysis device in the market, and also the first picosecond laser in the market that you're here to hear about tonight. So just to have an introduction, before introducing our main speaker tonight, Cynosure does a lot of research. So we try to actually innovate and know exactly our market before coming with any ideas or any devices in the market. So it's based on 6 pillars. The first pillar that you see here is the consumer and patient, because that's what drives the demand. So we need to know exactly what they want. The other thing is the healthcare practitioner yourself. So we want to know your business models. We want to know what you need and want to be able to actually meet your expectations as well. The other thing that drives the demands is the beauty and cultural trends. So because this is what drives the patient to come to you and ask for specific treatments. So you need to make sure what's happening in the market and what they need. The last 3 pillars that you see in the bottom, this is mainly for internally for Cynosure to understand how we position ourselves in the market compared to the competition, compared to the trends, compared to what's happening at the market itself. So this is what we base our research on to be able to deliver the best to you in the market. So why did we choose to focus on skin revitalization? So very specific, we've been doing a lot of research, and what we found is this is the subcategory that you have the highest growth, the fastest growing. So skin revitalization, but also radio frequency devices. So it's still an unmet need. Why is it important? It's because the consumer demand will drive the practitioner services. So what we found out is actually 28%, I feel like my son, okay. Only 28% of the consumers will actually go to your clinic and ask for skin revitalization. So there's still a lot of potential to grow in there, to actually give them what they're looking for. We're still post-COVID. So post-COVID, we were all online in front of the screen. So we're focusing on the face and neck. So this is the Zoom effect when you're having online meetings. So the patients are really focused on those areas, the face and neck mainly. So in Cynosure, we decided to do some research on that. Consumer insight conducted by Cynosure. Because I'm going to call. Sorry. Is it better? You can hear me? So we conducted what we call the Project Pearl. It was conducted in 2021. It was on 6,000 consumers, 12 different markets. And that includes actually 2 countries in the Middle East. So what we come up with is that the most popular treatment ever used is cosmetic dentistry and laser hair removal. I get the laser hair removal, you can all agree. But what is still like in demand is the skin revitalization. Only 28% of those patients went through skin revitalization treatment. But when you check the top 7 concerns of the patients, it's actually, I don't think you might see it from the back, but it's wrinkles, large pores, texture of the skin, spots, sagging of the skin, acne, and dark circle around the eyes. So the most demanded treatment, laser hair removal and cosmetic dentistry, they're not actually meeting the needs of the patients, the top 7 concerns that they have. So there's a lot of potential to grow that and to actually deliver treatments to resolve the issues of those patients. So what we're trying to do is really to give the patients what they want, what they're asking for. So what they want, to remove the pigments. They want a firmer skin. They want to have a better tone, skin tone. They want to correct the wrinkles. They want to have reduction of the pores and texture improvement. So this is something that we want to focus on. This is why we choose to focus on skin revitalization. So if we dive a little bit deeper in the Project Pearl, what you see, the level of incidence, the highest one, if you check in the quadrant here, and the level of occurrence, it's actually for wrinkle, large pores, spots, texture of the skin, and sagging of the skin. So it's all related to aging. As you know, like patients are losing 1% of collagen every year from the age of 30. So this is something that's related to aging, and this is where Cynoglow comes and tries to actually resolve all these issues and meet this unmet need in the market by providing skin revitalization, but also radio frequency devices to treat this and help the patient. So this is the penetration into the market. How are we going to penetrate the market? It's by trying to go on the top 7 concerns of the patient and give them the solution. But you can drive the penetration, but what you want also is the frequency. So when they come for, I was talking about laser hair removal. When they come for laser hair removal, at some point they will not have hair anymore. So that, right? So you want them to come back. You want something that will keep bringing the patient the volume into the clinic. You want them to keep coming back. You want to have more volume, big usage volume. So not only to bring them, but to keep bringing them. So you can have treatment that they can do for maintenance. So when it comes to skin revitalization, you can do maintenance sessions. So you want something that will give them results, that will target the top 7 concerns that they have, but also that doesn't have downtime. So much because people don't want to afford the downtime. They want to go to work right after. And that will give them results. So what we discovered from the research with Cynosure is that only 20% of the users are ultra users. So there's still 80% that you can target and bring to your clinics. So what we want to do is to introduce to you tonight Cynoglow, which is the sequential treatment of Pigment Pro and Pretenda, which is the 2 leading skin revitalization technology in the market. And this is the idea to actually transform your practice from premium to prestige. So we will talk about PicoSure first, PicoSure Pro, and we will have a small break, and we will talk about Pretenda. So without any more delays, I will just introduce to you Cynoglow and with Dr. Mariela.
Hello there.
So I'm using this back at the beginning. So it's feeling that on 7 days. And should and some get the money out of that side. And yeah. So then I'll go to the theater. I need to mean Hello from Kitu. My name is W. Marieva Papulas. I'm one from Bulgaria, and just to say a few words and to introduce myself, I'm a dermatology, and I am in the field of aesthetic and clinical dermatology for years, and I'm familiar with censure devices probably for 5 or 6 years so far. I have experience also with injectable treatments, with almost all the portfolio about from censure company. And since last year, I have gained some students with Picosure Pro, and before that, for 3 or 4 years with the Picosure Laser. So my goal here is to introduce you a little bit behind the science and the idea and our possibilities if we have the possibility to treat our patients with Picosure Pro and the Tenza. Also to give you some of my results to compare what you know with what you are gaining so far, and also to highlight a little bit more about the indications, and of course the ones of you that are not familiar with the Picosure Pro and Potenza, just to introduce a little bit more about the science behind these machines. We will start both with the Picosure Pro. And firstly, the main indication, because it's a unique laser, unique machine that is combining not only one concern of our patients, but we can give a variety of possibilities and variety of treatments to remove unwanted pigment, to reduce wrinkles, fine lines, acne scars, and for sizes with no downpride. I will highlight a lot of times the main advantages of the machines, both Picosure Pro and Potenza, because this is the most important part if you are trying to give to your patient the best possible outcomes and the best possible treatment. So you know, if you are facing your patients at your own clinics that they want everything now, they want it as the day that they're coming. Sometimes they're uncertain if they undergo some of the procedures, and if they know from social media or from some of their other friends that there is a popular treatment or something that is good for them, but they don't know what stands behind this procedure. We need to highlight and to point out that we are giving the best thing we can. So no downtime when treating with Picosure Pro lasers. We will see after these slides why. But they are also experiencing a mild sensation during the treatment, which is probably the second question. Is it painful when we are doing this treatment? So no downtime and no pain during the treatment. We can treat with Picosure Pro patients to improve overall skin zone texture. So this is making the laser so versatile. It doesn't matter the age group or also the concerns of our patient. We can introduce this treatment in their protocol and their maintaining treatment in your clinic. It's the first picosecond device clear to treat melasma pigments and also deeper congenital pigmentations like nevi, folta, and corny nevi. This is the first alexandrite picosecond laser on the market. It's the only one that is hitting with 755 nanometer wavelength, and this is something very important because we can cover the most of our different varieties of towel as also forms for core indications, because the 55 nanometers is the most versatile wavelength. It's the first picosecond laser with nanometer material. And because it stands on the basis of 755 nanometer theory and science, we have 3 times better of stock absorption in the melodicizing in melanin than that 64. This is giving us the ability to treat with lower fluences, and this is reducing the downtime and also the side effects of the treatment, and is giving you security to treat all skin types all year round, and again with comfort for your patients. We have the backup of almost 12 years, I think, so far. Publications, clinical data, and also a lot of information from the practitioners that directly coming to the clinic, coming to the science work. So we have most widely amount of peer-reviewed publications to back up this information that we gathered so far. It's the safest picosecond laser to treat diapers enzymes because the 755 millimeter is attracted to the melanocyte, but the picosecond plate was generating not heat but power and photoacoustic type of stimulation to the skin, so it's not damaging the melanocytes and it is not overheating the tissue. So that's why we can treat darker skin types without damaging the melanocytes in the thermoepidermal junction. And again, this is giving us no downtime and no side effects. Usually, we are connecting the 755 nanometer lasers with laser shader mostly, but in this case, because the mechanism of action of the picosecond wave, we are not treating with heat, we are treating more with the power of the acoustic waves, and that's why we are generating injury, really gentle one, softer injury, deeper in the tissue without, again, damaging the superficial layers and the endothelial tissue, which is producing actually down in the melanin pigment. The old indications are for treating pigmented lesions, acne scars, pimples, tattoos, but the newer ones are the melanin pigments, which is more, how can I say, stubborn indication and something that you, I think already know that it's not easy to treat, it's easy to maintain. And here we have the power to give to the patient the stability of the pigment, also the greater results, and to know that something is going to work during all of their visits. We have not only the 755 nanometer wavelength possibility to gain the range of the treatments, we have an additional characteristics. Not most of the times, though, we are going to focus only on the 755. Most of the time, you're going to use it for all of the listed indications, but we have the ability to treat, especially for tattoo removal and also for pigmentifications in darker skin types, 2 additional can pieces, which are just a small add-on, a little bit spectrum of other possibilities to treat different colors of the pigment. If you're familiar with the old precursor, here we have listed a few of the main advantages in the newer machine of precursor Pro. Probably the most important one for me is the ability for the practitioner to choose the treatment itself. So we have here the possibility to choose our fluence to adjust the power that we want to gain inside of the area that we are about to treat inside the target. And in this case, we are generating 30% more power, more energy during our treatments. Again, if we compare it, this is giving us 33% fewer pulses to cover the area that we usually treat. So faster procedures, again, with more gentle scaling for the patient, because it is not taking half an hour or 40 minutes to feel the energy and to feel the procedure, but 30% less pulses and less time. Also, we have add-on. We are going to talk about that in a few slides after. The focus fractionated lenses, the platinum focus lens, it's called in the precursor Pro, which is giving us the ability to treat also dermal changes and to induce dermal changes and dermal injury. With the precursor Pro, we have also 40% more pulses, so we can treat more patients with more energy. Again, with less time, every visit is going to be less and less and they're going to space in between. The benefits of the Delta-7's, the picosecond way, it is that we are generating high peak power during 1/300 seconds, which you can think like it's a burst of energy, not heat, but burst of energy during a small period of time. If we compare here to the lower part of the slide, we can see how these untreated tissue and untreated ink is reacting after one treatment with non-second laser. it is shattering the pigment. It is effective for the pigment, but still the particles are not small enough for the body to dissolve it and to remove it from here. But if we treat with the nanoseconds immediately after the treatment, you are getting almost not visible pigmented particles, and then our phagocytic system can remove it for shorter periods of time and without damaging the surrounding tissue, because we have high heat power, but it is because of the acoustic treatment, we are generating not heat, but just the pressure of the sided areas. Here's the comparison of the again activity of the 755 millimeter and the 1064 nanometer wavelength. Why 755 is the superior wavelength? Because they're measuring the distance in the absorption of our chromophores. With 755 standing in the middle of this chart, we can see that we have higher absorption in melanin and again some absorption in oxyhemoglobin, but you have higher distance between both of the curves. In this case, we are targeting almost all of the impact, all of the photoacoustic you got in the low side, and we are not damaging the vessels, which can cause us again some damage in the tissue and also more downtime and also the possibility of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, because we are losing the energy of heating the oxyhemoglobin and spreading it in these areas also inside the longitudinal junction. If we compare it with the 1064, we have smaller distance, shorter distance, and we are losing, especially in this way, the energy to heat the oxyhemoglobin, and then that's why we are more riskier if we are treating the patient with 1064 nanometers. Also, because we have the range of the spectrum and range, the attraction of this laser energy and 755 specifically to different colors, we have the possibility to treat wider range of indications with 755 nanometer. This is a patient study performed by Dr. Tangeri, and here we can see specifically with the prototype for patient. They have performed treatment with our laser with the fractionated lenses, and we can trace the reaction of the skin 24 hours after the performed treatment. In skin type 4 and of course in skin type 2 with 755 and the 24 hour, we don't have any reaction at all. And if we compare with 1064, we have the pink one, hematomas, we have amount of erythema with the shape of the treated, with the spot size of the laser. And in this case, we have the microvasculature of the voucher, which can cause this unwanted reaction and more risky of treatment for a patient specifically in, it doesn't matter the skin type, but in darker skin types, we have the possibilities for post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation higher than in whiter skin types. Here is again a patient with the Smith face procedure. One side performed with the 1064 and the other side performed with the 755 fractionated lenses. Again, we can see on the 24 hour comparing both sides, the strong reaction with the side of 1064 nanometer and the milder reaction with the 755, which again is a highlight of why we can treat with safer range, and also how can we ensure that of treating with 755 nanometer, we are not damaging the superficial layer and the developed junction. A little bit more about the handpieces and the lenses, because we don't have a lot of varieties of combining and achieving different endpoints. With the old version of the laser with the Picosure and with the new one, the Picosure Pro, we have basically the same handpieces, the flat lenses with the additional fractionated platinum focus here on. Here is listed like the gray tick on the end of the handpiece and the zoom handpieces. And in this case, we have a different variety of spot sizes, and these can concentrate the areas in the impact of the laser on a different depth. If we want to choose more abrasive treatment, more focusing on energy plant pulse, we're going to choose smaller size of the handpieces, or depending on the treated pigment also for the tool removal. Again, with some handpiece, we can adjust depending on the left or pigment. And if we want to get a little bit more sprays, more more mild treatment, we're going to use the bigger sizes like 8 millimeters from 10 millimeters, and we can cover larger areas like face, neck, decollete, again, depending on the patient's inside and the patient's skin color. With the fractionated lenses, this is something we can divide it, like if we want to achieve the skin rejuvenation, the skin tightening, acne scars removal, we are going to choose more or much more of the process to strictly the fractionated lenses, because here we are focusing 20 times more energy specifically in some areas of the treatment, tissue. And we are with lower fluences on the background, so we are not losing the amount of the energy in the area, but we are achieving concentrated, again, even 20 times more high peak power energy in one area. And we are dispersing after that deeper in the tissue, pressure waves. This is both pressure wave here. Dermal remodeling, we are generating gentle injury above the dermal epidermal junction, and then the spread of the pressure waves underneath to the superficial Nielsen dermis, gathered by the cytokine system and the cells that are usually recovering color tissue in a gentle way. We are going to achieve the dermal remodeling and the collagen and elastin production and reorganization. In this case, we can treat deeper targeted areas and deeper remodeling of the skin. Because the injury is re-injectable, we are concentrating every time with the fractionated focus lenses exactly in the same place, exactly the same amount of these called Lysin groups optical breakdowns, which is basically a vacuole, a small space of plasma created inside the tissue. After that, the pressure waves are spread underneath the dermal epidermal junction, so they don't have any type of injury like treated in this way on the most important area that is producing granular size. Again, because the injury and the inflammatory response is really gentle, we don't have the over production of fibroblast and fibrotic tissue, so we have only the rejuvenating effect and the tightening effect of the skin. Other people lasers, people second wave lasers, they can generate again like in this optical breakdowns. We're not saying that they cannot, but they are not so consistent in the placement, the amount of the LLBs, and also the generators to response after that. So if you want to know that we have the control over the treatment and then desired result at the end, we know that we can use a platinum fractionated focus lens on 755 picture broad. This is a compare study, again, stained in the proper way to see how much collagen and elastin fibers are generated. We can see the amount, specifically after treatment, how dense, how even if it is the distribution of collagen and elastin fibers, again, which is giving us the idea and the information that we have that consistent response to the tissue because of the consistent formation of light-reduced optical breakdowns. The other way of treatment is called flat lenses. We are not going to have the add-on, the gray add-on that has cases. We're going to use the standard ones, which is again the fixed one, 5, 6, 11 millimeters, and also the zone hand pieces. If we treat it like this, we're going to take only the photoacoustic impact in the line side, and we are going to remove and reduce the size of the unwanted pigment and the unwanted target, as seen on the previous slides, to reduce it from bigger particle sizes to smaller scent-like particle sizes. And again, it will be easier for the body to remove and to restore with the even color surface of the skin. Here, we don't have so much the impact of the pressure waves. We have only the photoacoustic impact, depending on the picosecond wave. The ability to choose for our cells the amount of the energy generated during the treatment is something that it has been wanted from the practitioners in the beginning of the PicoSure treatment and the possibility to treat with the PicoSure laser. So this is really, again, the control put in our hands and the ability for us to choose the proper direction and the proper amount of energy we want to do specification. In the highlighted squares, we can compare the older energy, the old joules level with the PicoSure, and the amount of the improved and the amount of more energy that would generate 30% more pore pulses with the different pulse sizes. So if a practitioners want to compare the older settings to newer Fusion Pro, they can for sure use it, and then it will be the standard ones, but we have the ability to gain 30% even more energy during one treatment. As we mentioned, because Prepusher is known for almost more than 20 years, 12 years I think, we have gained quite the amount of the competitors publicated information and publicated data. And since the beginning of the year, since February 2022, we have 115 peer reviews, abstracts, and also publications that are giving us the comfort and are giving us the certainty that we are treating in the best way possible, with the most efficient way possible, our patients at performing the procedures in the best way that there is. Some of the patients' outcomes I will show you in 3 or 4 on my patients. Usually in my country, they're between skin type 2, 4, sometimes 5, though not more. But just the idea and the possibility and also the discussion that can arise of this way of treatment is you see how you can combine different specific indications during the same session with the same patient and to have great outcomes after that. This is after one procedure. This is a patient's skin type 3. Her main concern was the solar revival, but also because she has an even skin zone, because in my country we are not so consistent with SPF and sun protection, and also women are using a lot of artificial tanning salons and artificial tanning sprays. Usually they have a lot of this discoloration, not only face but neck, decollete, hands, and we must not forget that Prepusher Pro, it is possible to treat all over the body. So if you have also discoloration of the face, neck, and decollete, you can do it in one session with the settings depending on of your patient's skin color. In this lady's case, we've treated her first with the zoom hand pieces specifically on the solar and fiber, because we want to focus the energy deep down to make the concentration of the energy much higher, and to gain this only one treatment enough to develop, as I may say, the solar net fiber. And after that, we have treated her full face with the flat lenses with 6 millimeters, because we want to even the skin zone. She's a good candidate for also treat for fractionated hand pieces with the platinum focus lens. But again, it depends on the possibility of the patients to perform the treatment, and also it is, if I may say, a different price range if we treat it with the platinum focus lens, or if we treat it with the flat focus lens. So again, sometimes we discuss with our patient how we can achieve better results. In her case, her main concern was at the solar net side, we treated it only once, and the after picture was taken 30 days after the initial treatment. And then in the same session with the flat lenses with the 6 millimeters, we achieved the more even skin tone, more even surface. But if she can do the platinum focus lenses, she can do it as a third step in the same visit, and she will have even better results, especially on the smaller wrinkles around the eyes and on the tightness of her skin. This is a patient with congenital etheric epithelitis. This is something that usually it is difficult to treat, because with only once an exposure they can reappear again. But in this case, because we treated her with the 5 millimeter flat lenses, this is a little bit more higher impact from the laser to the patient's skin. We achieved a faster clearance of almost all of the epithelitis, and the after picture was taken 40 days after the initial treatment. In her case, she was staying like this for almost 2 years. We performed after this treatment only 2, I think, more to maintain the result. And after that, for 2 years, she was missing almost all of the spots. Again, people want to treat the four sides or a little bit the superficial layers to tighten a little bit more. Again, she's suitable to continue with platinum focus treatment in the same session or a different one. But again, it is for your recommendation and for your discussion with your patient how she can proceed with maintaining her overall skin health.
This is the patient of mine that she was having a post birth alarm, and she has treated it in another place with deep topical pill. She was severely burned in the upper part. With the upper picture, we can see the borders of the plaque that was post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. And we were a little bit uncertain if we treated too soon, if it is going to cause a little bit more inflammation and again gaining a little bit more pigment with pigmentations in the same area. But we were seeing after 3 or 4 weeks after the peeling off of the crust that she was presented for SWIG, with treatment with the fractionated focus lenses, specifically on the areas where we have a little bit more thinner skin because of the burn on the area, and with the flat lenses to even the skin tone. And again, after one procedure, she is presented with almost completely removal of the pre-existing plaque. And if she continues to do and to repeat the procedure, she will get even better result of clearance on the melasma pigment, which equals her initial transfer. And just to make a reminder that we cannot treat on the face, but we can deconcentrations and again the possibility of endless results and endless possibilities. We can treat tattoos and excessive exogenous pigments not only from tattoos or tattoo removal, but also for cosmetic pigment like eyebrows, sometimes upper eyelids or lips pigment. So this is another variety and another possibility to give probably the most and the better outcome for your patient. In this case, we've treated on a specific area that the patient wanted because he wants to cover it after the distance pattern, or I think that he was applying for a different job and it was not possible for him to be visible with this pattern and underneath his sleeves. So we treated only like 4 fingers from the wrist above. This is the only one treatment, only one procedure with the selected settings. And because with the extremities, usually we're giving more time to see the clearance of the pigment. I'm giving for tattoo removal like between 6 and 8 weeks to perform the second treatment. This is just before the second treatment, and he was achieving 90% clearance of the tattoo removal after the second visit. This is provided to us from the company, but we can just discuss the idea of different indications and how we can combine the options and the different hand pieces from the laser. This is a lady suitable for the three different hand pieces, the flats, the zoom hand piece, and also the fractionated one, because she can be treated on the specific target areas. She can get the result on the fractionated hand piece with the gaining for collagen and elastin, and also she's seen even the overall skin tone on her skin. So during the same session, during one treatment, we can combine the three opportunities, the three hand spaces provided by the people short rocks. This is a patient with the melasma, with post-inflammatory hyperpigmentations, with chronic scars from acne. Again, after 3 treatments, which is usually our pre-selected protocol, again, depending on the severity of the cases. But usually analyzing my patients in they want to achieve better overall skin tone and better overall appearance of the skin, they should perform 3 treatments. If we are experiencing a lot of reaction and inflammation like the melasma, usually we are talking at least 5 or 6 treatments, again, in combination with other varieties and modalities of reducing the inflammation in the melasma. But usually for face, for neck and décolleté, they are going to perform around 3 treatments. For tattoo removal, it can be up to 6, depending on the part of the body that the tattoo pigment is dislocated. Because on the lower extremities and the end parts of the body, we have slower blood flow and slower removal of the pigment. So we need to take a little bit more time when we're performing one procedure and when you're going to schedule the next one. This is after 4 treatments removal of the deeper pigment like Nivasapota. This is the only way that we can achieve deeper in the dermis contact with the pigment because we know that we're going to produce your pressure waves, and we are going to disperse this type of energy vapor in the tissue. This is a treatment of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation and acne scarring after one treatment with a combination of treatment for the acne itself, because the inflammation will not be directly reduced only because of the people second wave, but the leftover scars and the pigmentation can be treated all immediately and during the treatment with other topical or oral treatments for acne. The same dermatitis and acne scarring after one treatment. If we're going to treat him, he is suitable for the fractionated lenses, for the platinum focus lens, because you gain the dermal remodeling vapor in the tissue because of the 20 pounds higher concentration of energy in some areas. We've seen so far that we gather a lot of invitations for varieties of skin types, almost all of the skin types we've seen so far, but it is known that we can treat even skin type 5 and 6 because it is not damaging the melanocytes within, and it's not concentrating the energy in the dermal and epidermal junction, but above and underneath. So we have the possibility to be sure and to be secure if we are performing a treatment with Picosure Bro instead of this 5 nanometer. Again, it doesn't matter the season and the period of time that we are performing. This is a treatment video from my previous visit in June, I think. We photographed it in only once, but you can see the reaction of the skin. We treated with fractionated hand pieces with the flat one, and you can see the reaction of the skin during the treatment. And do I have to? Yeah, I think so. It will require, but we can see the reaction of the patient's skin during the treatment, and then they are feeling comfortable performing it by the practitioner. Usually we are giving them, or if you have an assistant, they can also cool down the areas. And specifically, if you treat pigment, it's good to have a cooler, like cooling air, a chiller, going with your laser treatment, because we don't need the generated heat. We need to disperse it a little bit, and also it is better for our patient and for their comfort during your treatment to perform it with a chiller alongside the whole of the cold one. Usually we're performing conjugate passes between 2 or 3. We want to generate even passes on the areas, and usually we divide the face like on quadrants, 4 or 5, depending on the size of the area. And here is the interface of the laser. We can see that we can adjust the joules and adjust the energy depending on the area that we are selecting. We can treat near the eyes, we can treat the crow's feet, and if we have shields for intraocular shields, we can also treat lower IJs and a little bit more of the upper eyelid, so we can treat dark circles around the eyes in the same efficient way as people are treating excessive shrinkage from the lung. The same way of treatment with these painting oceans is going to be performed on the other parts of the body. If it's neck of the hands, we're going to treat the same way. Really is important for practitioner's turn. And I think with the first art pairs, we're probably at the end. We can have questions or nearly actually. If you want, because I know some of you came earlier, we can take a quick break and we can talk with the second breath about the Cynoglow. So let's just move on the side. I think there's Hannah. You can go out from there, right? Like, let's just have a 10-minute break, and if you want, you can come back at the end. And then we will have all the questions after. So that's okay, this right? Okay, tonight. Look at the child.